guys, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Bears. Today I am unfortunately joining Allie virtually because I am in Minnesota. It is my boyfriend's birthday, that's why I'm in Minnesota, not voluntarily, just to clear up some things.
Maddie, were you abducted?
Tell me to blink twice and please save my life. No.
Britney Spears? Does she need help?
Free Maddie 2020.
Free Maddie 2020.
Well, on today's show, we will touch on what resources Mott has for you, a little bit of pop culture. We have lots of special guests coming on that's going to be super exciting. We, of course, have the Chats with PSAC and a fun game with Mott Athletics. And we also have a fun motivational TED Talk. I'm super excited, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this.
Okay, so Maddie, I just got off the phone with Kris Jenner, and she told me that you have all the deets on, the Kylie and Kendall kind of meltdown that happened this past week. Tell me the deets, girl.
It was nothing short of nuclear, but on last week's episode of our sister show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was not all cash and Rolls Royces. On their family trip to Palm Springs, which had the idea of family bonding in mind, Kendall and Kylie got into a heated altercation revolving around a brown leather outfit. It ended with a little bit of physical altercation. It was nothing short of pretty. But if you want to see the clip for yourself, just head right to E! News and watch it.
So Kris told me that a stiletto heel pump was involved. What happened with that?
It was used as a weapon. I think it was, if we would get the lawyers involved, it would probably be a little bit along the lines of assault and battery with the Louboutin.
Oh my, can we just say that from watching that, honestly, I've come to two conclusions. One, that Kendall Jenner is definitely the black sheep of the Kardashian sisters, for sure. I feel like she's always moping and groping all the time. Would you not say that? I just feel like she's always complaining all the time while everyone else is just living their best life.
It revolves around her.
Yes. And then conclusion number two is that the favorite of the family is definitely Kylie. And I feel like it has to do that she made $900 million last year. That's just me, though. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think that might have something to do with it. My biggest takeaway is just family bonding in Palm Springs in the midst of a pandemic is just open for a fight.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I mean, in other news, when we take it back down to, the crazy state of Alabama, there's nothing short of crazy there. So you heard about Morgan Wallen losing it.
Oh my gosh, Allie. Morgan Wallen was on the loose the other weekend. He ripped through the bars at Alabama, kissing every sorority girl in sight. While he had a good time, his baby mama and 3-month-old son were not too thrilled. Let's watch this clip to see how Saturday Night Live responds to Morgan Wallen's antics.
Country singer Morgan Wallen is facing criticism after he was filmed partying with fans in a video posted on TikTok. Morgan is seen at a crowded house party in Alabama. It appears no one is wearing masks, as you can see, and he's also hugging and kissing fans. So here's the thing, you guys. Morgan is the upcoming musical guest on SNL this weekend. The video was taken apparently on Saturday. Some are questioning whether he should be there at all, go to the studio, perform, given that they are all kind of in a bubble protecting themselves over at Saturday Night Live, also in front of a live audience. According to SNL, performers, staff, and audience members all undergo rapid COVID-19 testing, and all non-performers are required to wear masks. Morgan has not responded to the video. Jeff, do you think that he should be performing? And if you were one of those SNL cast members, how would you feel seeing this, knowing that you yourself are taking,
makeup
employees,
staff,
absolutely taking every precaution to protect yourself and your fellow colleagues?
Yeah, Sam, I know this sounds harsh, but I think they should let them go. You know, I think people have to learn from what they're doing wrong. You know, when I filmed that movie in Georgia, if one of us, the staff, the crew, the actors, one person went outside that bubble and decided not to follow the rules and party, they ruined the whole movie, okay? Because they're going to bring the infection back to the people who are following the rules. So if I were a cast member on SNL, I'd be weary. At least he's got to be tested 2 or 3 times before Saturday. And even that, I think there needs to be consequences with people who just don't care.
Yeah, Jeff, and I mean, let's talk about DBL. When I go out and conduct myself, I conduct any kind of business, I'm not only thinking about myself. I know that I am sitting and talking close to somebody that's going home to an infant, going home to a husband, going home to a young woman. And there is a part of me that feels responsible for everybody. And if a video surfaced of myself, I don't know what doing tequila, whatever, with the line passing, kissing somebody, not even beyond not a mask, Jeff, kissing, open mouth. Hey,
I would be
sorry.
ticked.
We'll book you next month. Book you next year.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right, Jeff. There got to be consequences.
Yeah, we are all in agreement here. It's just not. It's not fair. It's selfish.
Can I just say, wow, like poor Katie Smith, his baby mama / fiance, or Maddie, are they even engaged anymore?
No, they're co-parenting actually, but still, he came back from the weekend of making out with sorority girls and wanted to see his baby. And he had to wait for his COVID results and was like a little bit hostile about it. But I just think he was being selfish. He wasn't thinking about his baby at the time or anybody else that he could potentially put at risk for going out like that.
Yeah.
Especially in the guy is a little weird.
I know. I just don't get it. I would not try to put myself in that circumstance, especially with like how famous he is and just having a newborn baby too. Like, oh, Morgan, what were you thinking, guy? Well, luckily, in other news, it is now time for tea time. With us today, we do have the one, the only Zachary Stone from IT and the head varsity coach of eSports. Zachary, what's up, my guy? Would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Allie. So you did a great job, first of all. I guess I'm here to talk about esports first. I know there's some other stuff we have coming up too. But yeah, for the first thing, we're talking about esports. I'm the varsity coach for esports. We've been doing esports for, this is the second year that we've done esports. Stefan here was with me. He was with me last year. He's playing again this year for us. Right now we're doing Super Smash Brothers every Tuesday night. We're streaming that on Twitch. We have a Twitch channel for the college. It's twitch.tv/mottplays. So come check us out. If anybody's interested, we're always recruiting for next semester. It's too late for this semester, but we've got teams coming up for next semester for all sorts of different games. So
for sure. So what are some of like the titles that you guys compete in?
So right now we're competing in Super Smash Brothers on the Switch. We've been doing that. We did that last semester too, last winter. We actually took a top 8 finish in the country, which was pretty cool. So I think we'll be able to do that again this semester, if not better. Next semester, we'll probably be looking at a few more games. It's all driven by student interest. So we have the ability to field teams and all sorts of stuff. Valorant's the big one. We've got teams for like obviously Super Smash Brothers. We're going to be recruiting. We're going to be expanding that one. So we're going to have a few open slots on the team there. We're going to have Overwatch. We're going to try to have League of Legends. I think those are the most popular ones. But if you've got interest in playing some games competitively for us, there's a whole laundry list of games that we have available. And as long as there's enough student interest, we can field a team in any of them.
Okay, so like let's say I want to play esports. What do I do? What is my next step, Zach?
The first thing you should do is reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with all of the other students that have an interest. We have a Discord channel that we all use to kind of stay in touch. As we get ready to like ramp up for the seasons, we throw together some game nights to try to see if we have enough people to actually field a team. And so that's something that'll be coming towards the end of the semester, as we'll start to ramp those up again to see if there's enough, I guess, traction for something like that we're not doing right now. Like I said, the Valorant, Overwatch, those kind of things.
Yeah, okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So, like, another thing is, why do you think esports is kind of crucial right now during this time period? Because you guys are sitting in a very interesting juxtaposition where, like volleyball that got canceled this semester and it got pushed back. Same with basketball and a lot of other face-to-face physical sports. So what kind of juxtaposition are you guys in? Because you guys can still compete, right?
Yeah, we can compete. We do all our competitions from home. We do it all online. There's a chance we might do something if we reach the national championships in person on campus, but otherwise, we're completely online. We're completely from home. We play against people all over the country online. We've played people this semester already. We've played people from New York. We've played people from Kentucky, all over the place.
That's awesome. And is there more scholarship opportunity like at the next level too, like that you guys are finding out now?
Yeah, so we do offer scholarships for our athletes, just like all the other sports on campus do. At least I think all the other sports on campus do. I guess I should have checked that. But yeah, we have scholarships available for everybody. Obviously, you have to qualify to be on the team to qualify for a scholarship. So there's some requirements. You got to be a full-time student. You have to be in good academic standing. But that's just about it. There's some other some paperwork, procedural stuff we do, but the big requirements are you have to be a full-time student and you have to be in good academic standing.
Okay, so maybe one day, I don't think Pong is really considered like esports, but me and you, we can go at it one day, Zach. How about that?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I
Sounds
probably
really
can
cool.
keep up with some people in Pong, but that's probably one of the few ones that I could beat some of our.
I'm the
esports
master
guys.
of Pong, let me tell you. So Manny Grassi, we have Stefan with us here too. So Stefan, you are actually on the esports team, correct?
Yes, I am.
So do you want to like take us through like your game day warm up? Like what do you do? What's the typical day of an esport gamer?
Well, let's see. Specifically on like game day, it for the most part starts out a normal day. And then since our games are usually at about 6 o'clock, give or take, depending on what works best, like matches our opponent's schedule. Usually it's just playing a little bit beforehand, like taking just a good half an hour to warm up and kind of get in the right mindset to play a match. But you don't want to play too much because then you could burn out and get kind of tired, especially since we're doing best of 7 sets, which can be kind of long and grueling. You want to make sure that you're not really burnt out beforehand.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So like Maddie Grassi, you had like your warm-up song in volleyball, right? Like you would have a song that you played every single time before you play. Like what was that song?
Black and Yellow, courtesy of Ma, of course. We
I
really
love
that
it.
song. What is your game day song, Stefan? Do you have one?
So I don't really have like a game day song. Like I don't really have a ritual, but I always pretty much have the game volume turned off and I'm listening to my own music, usually something to kind of get me kind of hyped up and energized. For me personally, that's usually some form of rock or metal, but
Okay, that's respectable. So when you're facing off against these other opponents, are you guys in like I remember like I used to play Halo way back in the day, and we would always play online with like people across the country and the world. So are you able to talk with these people or can you see their face? Like what is it like when you play them?
it's generally a lot less personal. Like I suppose we have the option to like, be in a voice call, but usually we're just kind of focusing on the game, trying to tune out as many outside distractions as we can, but we still have to communicate in between matches, so we just communicate over Discord text chat.
Okay. Well, thanks for kind of sitting with us and answering some of our questions, Stefan. So now, Zach, we're going to kind of change gears. So not only are you the head coach of esports, but you are a representative in IT. And you guys have been extremely busy this semester, needless to say. So, thank you for all of your hard work and everything that you guys have been sacrificing over there. But we have had some students that have come to us, and we kind of want to ask you some questions and get your feedback on it. So Zach, a lot of students have been telling us that they're really having a difficult time finding the MC for me on the new website interface. Do you have any helpful tips for them on kind of navigating it?
As far as, sorry, you broke up a little bit there for me. So I heard you say they're having trouble navigating MCC for me, or was it just finding it in general?
One, finding it, and then two, navigating MCC for me and the new website.
Okay. So the link for MCC for me is right up at the top of the new homepage. So if you're at mcc.edu, it's in the, it's right underneath the Mott logo. There's a list of programs, campus life, and the last thing in that list to the right is MCC for me. That takes you into the new portal, I guess. You still have to log in for a lot of the stuff to show up. You might not be automatically logged in. And in the top right there, there's an option to log in. You'll put in your username and password, and then all the normal stuff you would see would come up. But you have to go through that before you see all the my backpack and all those links. They won't show up until you're logged in. So.
Okay. And then what about, I know that we were having some issues like with the website, like there's some broken links in there. Some of the things it's kind of hard to navigate. Like, do you have any other helpful tips for students that are trying to navigate the website during this time?
Yeah, so if you're finding broken links and stuff like that, at the bottom of every page, there's a page change request. So usually we would say the people who own the content of that page should have to go through that and update that. But I know that's not always easy to do. And so we can help out by reaching out to people if we know that there's a broken link. There's so many links on our website in order to go through and check each one, right? I mean, it's absurd. So we know there's some stuff that's still out there.
A full-time employee to do that.
Yeah, we would probably need a few. And so, we don't know every link that's out there, and we don't even manage all of that content. We have, a lot of the different departments on campus are updating that on their own, and they just kind of they tell us what to put there, and then we go ahead and update it for them. So if you find stuff that's broken, reach out. You can send us an email at tohelp@mcc.edu. That's probably the easiest way, and just paste the link in there that's broken, or send us a screenshot, any of that stuff, and we can track it down from there.
Okay, that's awesome. So Bears, you heard them, tohelp@mcc.edu. And the tohelp@mcc.edu can help you with a bunch of other things, correct? So even if they're having trouble with like their backpack, they have a weird login and they don't know what's going on with their password and they have to reset it a million times, you would send them to the tohelp@mcc.edu.
Oh yeah, that's for all sorts of stuff. It's not just ITS in there. A lot of student services is in there. All sorts of departments across campus can see issues that come into that system and help you out with it.
That's some really great stuff to know. So there was another question that we received from a student, and there are a lot of students that they don't have access to Wi-Fi at home. So like their online classes are really difficult for them, and some of them have to like go to McDonald's or like Starbucks. Is there any type of resources that Mott is offering to help with alleviate those technical issues for students?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying we do have a computer lab that's open on campus that you can drop into. There's one in the Curtis Mott building, and then the library is letting people show up by appointment only, I believe. So if you call ahead to the library, you can usually schedule a time to get in and use the computer lab and those resources.
Okay, what about the Curtis Mott computer lab? Like, how do they go about doing that?
So that one is available for drop-in people. If it's busy, which I don't think it has been, we are doing social distancing, and we have like overflow stuff so that we're still maintaining a distance. We're still doing contact tracing, so you have to sign in when you get there. But we have multiple, because there's a lot of places on campus that are closed. We have the ability to kind of expand into some areas that we wouldn't normally. So we have a couple rooms that we can open up for people. There hasn't been a lot of foot traffic in there, which is a good thing. But if people have, troubles getting online, they can absolutely go in there. I think the hours are 8 to 8 Monday to Thursday and 8 to 5 on Fridays. I don't know. I don't think we're doing Saturdays. I can check on that though. And usually in fall semester, we do Saturday 8 to 3. I'll double check that before the end of this and I'll let you know for sure. But yeah, outside of those things, there's also some information on the Mott homepage. on the CARES Act. So on the homepage, there's a button that says CARES Act information. And about halfway down that page, there's a thing that says free internet resources. And there's links there to all of, like a bunch of different service providers, Comcast, AT&T, all of them had a response to the coronavirus and the pandemic. And a lot of that means you can get free internet access for a certain amount of days, for a certain amount of months, etc. They don't really make that information very easy to get to. Obviously, they don't want to, right? They want to make as much money off of people, their customers, as they can. But we tried our best to kind of collect a lot of those resources and put them in one place for people that might qualify for those programs.
Okay, that's awesome. So there's a lot of resources for you guys, Bears. You just kind of need to know where to go. Luckily for us, we have Zach here. So again, when we actually play this in the recorded version, we'll be able to put Zach's email up there, and then also some links to the other areas that he was referencing. So Zach, before you go, there are a lot of students that are struggling right now at home, in school. What is your best word of advice for these students right now navigating this virtual atmosphere that we're in?
My best word of advice would be, set a schedule and stick to it. I know when we're at home, sometimes we can be a little loose with setting our class times and doing all that. For me, what works best is I'm in my home office where I have a door that I close, and I only use this space when I'm doing work. That's what works best for me when I'm doing class kind of stuff as well. To have a set space and a set schedule, and to really hold myself to it. But yeah, other than that, if you have trouble getting access to resources, we can absolutely help. There's all sorts of resources here at the college. There's not just our stuff. There's mental health services. There's all sorts of great stuff that I know you guys talked about. I think you guys covered that in one of your previous ones.
Well, heck yeah. I miss your face. Tell Gail I said hello.
Yeah,
And we'll need to have you on for like another episode or something. Me and you, like mano a mano, playing Pong.
Yeah, we can do that. For
sure. Well, be prepared to get demolished. Just kidding. But thank you, Zach. We really appreciate it. All right, Maddie, would you like to segue us into our next little talking point?
Yeah, it was super cool. I loved having Zach on. He has a lot of information, and I think the Wi-Fi thing is something that a lot of people didn't know, and that's valuable information to have. Upcoming next, we have my favorite part of the show, Chats with PSAC, and we have Jazz that's going to lead into that.
Woo!
Hi, I'm here. I'm Jocelyn Cathy. I'm the host of Chat with PSAC, and with me today I have Professor Kim Owens, Humanities faculty. She does English classes mostly, I think. I think she's the English professor. She's the English master. So this subject, we're going to be talking about emails and communicating with professors, hence the subject of Chat with PSAC today. Can you bump my 37% to a 93? So happy to have you here, Professor Owens. Yay.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I like the Legos background. Very nice.
I was going to do IHOP for you, but I have this up for my son. And I couldn't find the IHOP one again. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's great that you remembered. So first thing that I want to ask you about is, what do you teach? What do you do? And how are you working through this new normal from your view as a professor?
Ooh, yeah, it's been a ride. I teach predominantly English 101 and English 102. Occasionally, I teach a literature class, but I'm sticking to the comps for now. I guess I would say, in addition to teaching, I'm also the vice president of the faculty union, and I'm also a mom to twin boys. And they just went back to school on October 1st. So I will say that has made life a lot easier for everyone. They have been home since March. So I feel for all the parents out there who are trying to work and go to school and teach your children and parent during a pandemic. This has been a very challenging time for all of us. I hope that it's not the new normal. I would like to find a different new normal if we can. But, I think Mott as a whole has done really well. This was a big curveball that was thrown at us, and I'm super proud of the students for really stepping up. I know a lot of you were not expecting this. You didn't want this. Online class is very different than in person. And for the most part, I've seen a lot of stepping up. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I definitely agree that I hope that this is not the new normal. I'd really like to go outside, and not just touch grass and feel like I'm alive. That'd be nice. I do have a question for you with students. They are basically navigating this new virtual world, and a lot of them are having, a lot of trouble with emails because that's our main form of communication now. So I do have a question for you. What are some of your do's and don'ts of emailing? So what are some things that you need to know in an email to help a student? And what are some things that just make you not want to respond at all?
Well, first, I would say that I always respond to student emails, even if they do something I quote unquote do not like. I know that students are hungry right now for communication. I think all of us are. And so I try to be as timely as possible. One of the things that I teach is the rhetorical situation. And I won't go into all of that now because I know it's not really your question, but I think two things from that are important. I think knowing who your audience is and why you are writing are the most important factors to consider when you compose an email. So if you don't know your professor that well, I would say keep it formal, err on the side of caution. So do address them as professor or doctor. I think, hey, what's up is not always the best way to start, depending on the situation, of course. I do think it really helps if, even in the subject line, if you put the class and the section that you're in. Many of us teach, 4 or 5 different sections and different classes. So it helps us prepare to know which class exactly you're in. That helps a lot. I would also say be very specific in your email. So for example, sometimes I get emails that simply say, I don't get it. And I don't know what to do with that because I'm not quite sure what exactly you don't get. So I think really paying attention to details and asking very specific, direct questions or comments or concerns is first and foremost. I would also say format is important. So pay attention to the format. It's an email. So, use paragraphs. Don't have a big, huge block of text that's hard to get through. Break it up into short paragraphs. Do your best with spelling and punctuation. I've received emails that I call text talk, which, it's not a text. It's an email. And yeah, I think those are the main things I would definitely consider when emailing a professor.
Okay.
There's probably others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
No, that's okay. I do have a follow-up question. You mentioned being very specific in your emails, asking specific questions. I know sometimes it's very difficult to put what's going on into words. How do you feel about screenshots of things, taking pictures of things?
I think that could be really helpful. Anything that helps the professor help you is going to be your best mode of communication, right? That's what we're all here to do. We want to do our very best to help you, especially now, right? When we're in this situation that none of us really wanted to be in. So really understanding what your needs are and whatever's the best way to communicate that is, I think almost every professor would be fine with that.
Thank you so much for kind of going through this. I really appreciate the rhetorical situation. I've taken your 102 class, so I know all about that. And I think that is really important not to use text speak, to make sure that you are treating your professor with respect, and overall just trying to be as specific as possible. So thank you for that. That does lead me to another question though. Um, Students sometimes say that they have a lot of trouble getting in contact with their professors. So, what are some things that you think students should do when establishing contact, or some next steps if contact really is not possible for that student?
Well, the first thing I would do is call ITS, make sure there's something that's not wrong with your email to see what the problem is with your email getting to that professor. The other thing you can do now, we have two forms of communication or email now. We've got, the MOT email, but we also have Canvas. So you can email right through Canvas. And so if your MOT email isn't working, try going through Canvas. I also know sometimes, especially if you have a Gmail account, sometimes you forget to switch over to MOT email, and sometimes it doesn't come through or it goes to our spam folders. So I would say make sure that that's not the issue. But Zach was on here, ITS, they're great. You don't just have to email them. You can call them as well at the help desk. And I think when you put Zach's email up there, I don't know the phone number. I know it's to help if you're on campus. I think it's 762 HELP. I don't know what the numbers are though. I don't have a phone in front of me. So, but maybe you guys can throw the phone number up there, or Zach can chime in and tell us what the number is. But I would say, I know some students have been having some technical difficulties, as have some professors. So that might be the issue.
So you mentioned calling IT, and I want to ask you another question about calling. We have two modes of contact. By the way, thank you for bringing up Canvas. I think a lot of students do not know that that is another form of communication. There is actually a tab on there where you can talk to your professors. So, students out there, if your professors aren't talking to you via email and Gmail, some of our professors are teaching like 5 sections, so they get like 300 emails a day. I know a professor that literally is always talking about how many emails he gets. So Canvas is another direct option. But back to my original one, which is talking to professors about via phone call, right? So some professors are actually giving you their personal numbers, which is great, right? Awesome for instant contact, but what are some guidelines for getting the help that you need without infringing on like a professor's boundaries?
Right. So that's a good question. I think most professors, if not all, should have some sort of communication policy in their syllabus, or they explain it on the first day of class. And I would say refer to that first and foremost. If they didn't do that, I think a direct question would be welcome, like via email or the, hey, when can I contact you? But I think most of us are pretty good about saying, I'm unavailable during these times, or like Sunday is not a good time to contact. I think it varies by professor. So I would say look into their specific communication policy, and if it's not clear, then ask. I think we appreciate those kinds of questions. And I'll circle back to an answer I gave you earlier. Our main job here at Mott is to help you. Like for me, I teach at Mott because I love Mott. I love the students here, and I want to help them succeed. I don't want to go to an institution where, half of my job is trying to publish a paper. That's not my goal in life. I don't care how many articles I publish. I want to help students. That's my goal. And so I think any way that we can help you, we're going to do it. So for example, I don't give out my phone number, but I do use Remind. I know not a lot of professors use that. If you don't know what Remind is, well, I know you know, Jazz, but it's a texting app where you can text your professors. And I tell them, I'm okay with you texting whenever, but if it's like 2 a.m, don't expect an answer right away. I do occasionally sleep. Not very often, but occasionally I do sleep. So I think, you know, just reasonable parameters. I would probably say anything after 9 p.m. or anything before like 7 a.m. is probably not a good time for most professors. But any other parameters, you would have to look at the communication policy and see what they prefer or ask. Again, we're all about answering questions. That's what we're here for.
Right. This is a question that just kind of popped up in my head, but there are some professors that are doing office hours. I don't know, you did office hours last semester, and I was very grateful for that. But for office hours, what are some things that you can tell students as far as tips are concerned for, you know, say they have a specific question or say that they're coming to your office hours to ask you something?
Yeah, I do office hours still. I have Zoom office hours. I've been kind of changing them up every week to try and hit everyone's schedules. And I would say if you're coming to an office hour that way via Zoom, I would give your professor the heads up about why you're coming so that it can be a productive meeting. I know everyone's pressed for time right now. So, you know, maybe a quick email or a quick call, like, this is why I'm coming, this is what I need, any documents or assignments or anything like that, have those ready. Screenshots are fine. You know, you can share your screen if you're using Zoom. I know other professors are using different forms of different communication types. So I know a lot of professors are using like Google Chat or Google Meet. There's other ones out there. I can't remember all of them, but you know, I would say, you know, email your professor first and foremost, and you know, do a little bit of the pre-work so that you can have a productive meeting. And don't be afraid to go to those office hours. I've got them set up, and I've only had 3 people so far take me up on the offer. So again, we're also hungry for contact. So a lot of us do not like teaching solely online. We like to be in the classroom because we like our interactions with you guys. We miss you. So please, you know, reach out. I'm so glad you emailed me and asked me to do this because I hadn't heard from you in a while. So I was like, oh, yay, Jazz is contacting me. A student contact.
Right. I'm really glad that you came on the show. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe she's busy, but I mean, I'm really happy that you're here answering questions. Which leads me to another thing. This is another question that I asked. I'm sorry, I'm keeping you. We're almost to the last one, I promise.
Oh, no,
But
it's fine.
I emailed you Monday, I think, asking you to be on this show. There are some professors that have said very clearly in their syllabus, you know, same day emails for emergencies are not the move. Can you tell me why that is? Why are professors kind of like, do not email me on the deadline of something for me to help you?
Right. So that could be for a number of different reasons. I think what most professors mean, usually like in English, for example, if you're struggling with a paper and we get an email that the day the paper is due for help, there's not going to be much we can do because you're not going to have enough time to really revise it. So I think those types of emergencies, they're probably talking about non-emergency emergencies, if that makes sense, where it really isn't an emergency. It was a matter of waiting too long. I think if true emergencies come up, we understand. And I don't think you really have to be afraid of emailing professors about, you know, hey, my kid is sick, or hey, I have to go get a COVID test, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's, you know, or if it's the day of a test and it's like 2 minutes before the test, you know, I think they need a little more time to adjust when possible. But I mean, obviously, if it's truly an emergency, I think that, you know, do it anyway. And if there are some sort of repercussions that you feel aren't fair, then talk about it with the professor. Talk about it further with that professor. I would say almost all of us are extremely reasonable, and we understand that these are unprecedented times. So I think kindness and grace are the reigning traits we all need right now, and for all of us. And I think you're seeing that in abundance at Mott.
I definitely appreciate you highlighting, if it's an emergency. I think another thing that students are scared of is just contacting professors in general. I know when I first came to Mott, I was definitely a person that was like, I don't want to bother my professor. I don't want to make any unnecessary work for them. I don't want them to think that I don't have work ethic if I do have like something I need to take care of. To students out there, right? As Professor Owens has just said, they're here to help you. So it never hurts to ask. Direct contact is something that is super important. It's okay if you don't know, then just ask it, and then hopefully, they'll help. And if not, like Professor Owen said, you can talk in more depth if you think it's unfair. So thank you for highlighting that. I think some students are just really scared. I promise you, Mott professors are really nice. I've never met a Mott professor I didn't like. This does lead me
Oh, I
to.
don't know, Jazz. Maybe Kim, you can attest to this. Robbie Peschke. Has anyone had him? I can't hear of one student that likes him. I mean, geez, he's gonna be on the show next week.
Such a pain. He's such a pain. He's just hated across campus. I'm kidding.
Know. I hope he watches this and he
I do
sees.
too. That's why I said that. I love you, Robbie. You know I do.
Peace and love, Robbie. Don't hate us.
That's right. No haters on this show. No haters.
Yeah, no haters. I mean, I guess unless you're Robert Peschke, then I guess there might be a bunch of you.
I mean, he might not be as popular as I am, but he's pretty darn close.
I recommend you a lot for English classes, Professor Owens. I do. Like I have like my top 3 that I always do. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure you have full classes.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because having twins is very expensive, and I need to have this job. So, and I also love my job. So keep recommending, please. Recruit more people to come to Mott.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying. My little sister's up next. I got her.
I'm ready.
Yeah. My last question, you have been giving out incredible nuggets of advice so far, but this is a more general thing. Midterms are almost here, and this is an unusual situation where like almost everyone is taking them online. Do you have any advice or words of encouragement for students that are working through this semester?
Yeah, so I think I would remind everyone, first and foremost, it's hard. I know that. And we all will acknowledge that, and we all need to remind ourselves of that this has been really, really hard and stressful. I would probably say this is still a class. So I heard Zach say to carve out time, have a schedule, stick to it. And I think that's wonderful advice. I would go a step further. I think during your classes, if you're coming to campus once a week, or if you're attending Zoom lectures, or if you're watching videos and just reading, gobs and gobs of email, take notes. Just like you would in class, take notes. It helps you retain the information a lot better, and it makes you feel more prepared. Form study groups. Don't do this alone. Just because we're not face-to-face, you can still have study groups. In fact, I might say that this has been the silver lining of the pandemic. We have Zoom now. It's so easy to form a Zoom group and Zoom with some of your classmates, even if it's just to say, oh, did you see what Professor Owens wore today during her Zoom lecture? Why was she wearing that color? No. Just to have that contact with other people. But you can share notes, you can share ideas, form those learning communities. That's what works best. When you take the midterm, make sure it's a quiet space as much as possible. I feel for those who have to go to McDonald's and Starbucks to do this stuff. Get some headphones if you can. That does help. I always wear mine because, again, I have twins. So even though they're not here now, I just got used to it. But be good to yourself. Reward yourself. After your midterm, get yourself a little treat. Go to Starbucks and, I don't know, get a pumpkin spice latte or something. But do be kind to yourself as well, because we all know that this has been difficult. And I think just be prepared like you would in a normal class as much as you can.
I definitely, I thank you for bringing up the be kind to yourself. I definitely know that I, as a student, have been struggling with that. If I don't get the grade that I wanted, or, you know, I kind of missed like when I wanted to do this thing because of something else that popped up. So I definitely appreciate you saying that, you know, give ourselves some time to just reflect, and that's okay. I also thank you for bringing up notes and study groups, because I'm going to do a little shameless self promo. I'm a peer tutor and we help with that. So we help you if you have problems with taking notes. We help you if you have problems with organization. As I think Zach said earlier, there are tons of resources for you. So utilize those resources. If you don't know where to go, you have a personal success coach. That's what Katie said last week. You know, if you don't know what to do, talk to them. And finally, thank you for bringing up, you know, if you have a place to be where it's quiet, right? I think we really don't appreciate what quietness can do for us. Sometimes we just need something in the background, and it's okay to just have that time to fully focus. So I thank you for hitting all of those points. And finally, I thank you for being here. That was my last question. Thanks for coming on to our show, hanging out with me for Chat with PSAC. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. Good luck this is a good idea. I didn't even know you guys were doing this. I feel bad.
Thank you, Professor Owens. We love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. I'm done, Allie. Bye.
Peace and love, Kim. Peace and love.
Wow,
Hi, guys.
awesome job, Jazz. And I loved having Professor Owens on the show. That was so much fun, and I feel like we got a lot of useful and meaningful information. Up next, we have a game show that's hosted by our very own Sabrina and Grace from Student Life. We have a couple of guest athletes that will be playing on today's show.
So it's just me today. I'm a little special guest. So, Kennedy, are you ready to answer some awesome questions and get them all right?
Yes.
All right. So first question. On October 8th, the FBI stopped a plan to kidnap the governor of what state?
Michigan.
Correct. Good job. All right. You got 1 out of 6. 5 more to go. On October 1st, this country banned the use of single-use items, such as plastic straws, plastic stirrers, and cotton buds. What country was this? You have France, England, Italy, and the United States.
Italy?
Close, but it was England. Good job, though. So, third question. Louisiana is pelted yet again by another hurricane, including Hurricane Delta. How many storms have made landfall in Louisiana this season? We have 4, 8, 6, or 10.
4, I believe.
Close again. It was 6, but you're all good. All right. So the fourth question is, Waymo, the self-driving vehicle technology unit of Google parent Alphabet, is relaunching and expanding its fully automated robo-taxi ride hauling service in what U.S. city? Miami, Austin, San Francisco, or Phoenix?
San Francisco.
Correct. Good job. All right. So, second to last question.
Okay.
Fast food doesn't have to be basic and generic. Some countries know how to mix things up and really have it your way. In Belgium, a surprising fast food restaurant is petitioning for a Michelin star. A hallmark of fine dining. What restaurant is striving for greatness? McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, or Sonic?
Sonic.
Close. It was Burger King, which is very surprising to me. And last question. Presented by Xfinity, Autumn Anarchy is a tournament with $10,000 grand prize. Featuring what video game? This game features unique dancing, a battle royale, and is available at multiple consoles. So you have Halo, Call of Duty, Fortnite, or Minecraft?
Fortnite.
Correct. All right, good job, Kennedy. Thanks for joining our game show.
Great job, Kennedy. Oh my God, Sabrina, like, you're giving these people
Sabrina,
some hard questions.
I know. Sorry.
will you do the Fortnite dance?
Which one?
Orange Justice?
Unfortunately, I do not play Fortnite, so I don't know these dances.
Sabrina, that is a lie. I know you know these dances because you're on TikTok all the time. And you know it's true.
I can do a whip. That's what I'll give you guys.
No, give us a dance. We need a nice segue into our TED Talk.
Yes. Please, the whip's not going to do it for my TED Talk.
Oh, sorry. Okay, give me a dance and I'll do it for you guys.
Cardi B, WAP.
And then your knees go in.
The WAP is
you know that one?
Wait, Maddie, you tell her what one to do.
Oh, do the one that's like you flail your arms, but then your knees like go in. I think that's the Orange Justice.
Okay, I don't really know. You can't see my knees. All done. All right, let's do the TED Talk.
All right, if that's not a transition, I don't know what kind of transition we should do then. Stefan, can you reel the TED Talk, my guy?
Good evening. Tonight, I would like to share my knowledge with all of you of how to become self-motivated. I feel quite uncomfortable saying this, but I am motivated. My name is Kira Gunther. I play the harp and the piano. My favorite sports are running cross country and track. I'm an honor student, I'm on the student council, and I speak fluent German. Aber bitte, fragen Sie mich nicht etwas in Deutsch zu sagen. In case any of you didn't quite get that, translated in English, this means, but please don't ask me to say anything in German. When I have free time, I like to spend it with friends and family, as well as babysit. But don't worry, I'm Red Cross certified. People think that it's weird how I'm happy in school, but truth be told, I sincerely enjoy the whole atmosphere of school and learning. I have some pretty big dreams to achieve when I'm older. Some examples of my aspirations are getting into almost all AP classes, acing my SATs, getting into an Ivy League school, getting a doctorate degree, and most importantly, to continue my learning all throughout my life. I am what I consider to be a potluck dinner. I have some good parts, and I have some quirky, but mostly good. This question has haunted me for the past year or so. Without motivation to do anything, what is life? I mean, why do we even get up in the morning? Because we are motivated to do whatever it is we feel compelled to tackle. Whether it be because we have a nail appointment or a test to take, or we just don't want to miss a meeting. We are still going because there is some kind of pull to the task, to the day, and to life. My role here tonight is to show all of you how we can summon the motivation to get onto the path that leads to a successful life. Based off of my research and observations, I've come up with a few steps called Kira Gunther's Instruction Guide to Self-Motivation. First, we must set up a stable and safe environment for ourselves in order to feel more at ease. I do this by listening to classical and spa music on my iPhone. And doing this really brings me back down to earth, and it helps me focus on things other than my home life, like my dreams and aspirations. After we find the peace and stability we need, we can focus on things other than just what is going on in this moment. Next, we must be role models, both for ourselves and for others. My favorite way of doing this is by babysitting. I know it sounds a little strange, but when I babysit, I really feel inspired to set the best example that I possibly can. Research has even shown that when you are closer in age to the child, you will feel, and the child will feel, like they are looking up to you more than they're looking up to their parents. I was quite shocked when I found this out. Apparently, I also set a good example because whenever my friends have issues, they tend to come to me for advice. And not to brag, but whenever I have a homework assignment, I always finish it, even if it means getting up at 4:30. Sorry, Mom. Thirdly, we must learn to accept and be more comfortable with who we are. I do this by dancing at bat mitzvahs, like no one is watching. That's what people say. Sorry. In addition, well, actually, I warned you it was pretty bad. But additionally, we need to figure out why our lives matter. And we also need to make sure that other people feel the same way. Next, we need to be open-minded. We need to just start accepting people for who they are, instead of worrying about how our lives are different from theirs and how they might be better and our lives might be worse. We should just grow and learn from them and their experiences. Finally, we need to expose ourselves to role models. I have my parents to look up to, and both of them have succeeded, but in completely different fields. On one hand, there's my mom. She is so smart, and she is the data and analytical type of person. On the other hand, there's my dad, who is very creative. He paints Jackson Pollock style, and he was the PTO president of Lincoln Hubbard. And I mean, they both raised me, so they must have been successful. After we expose ourselves to people who've succeeded, we will feel like we should follow their example, and that whatever we do should follow in their footsteps, which is a good thing, because if we follow in their footsteps, we will also lead a successful life. But my steps may be completely different from what motivates you, or you, or you, or you. You see, I may be motivated to get good grades so it will help my college resume. But Joe Schmo over here may be motivated to get good grades because otherwise he'll get his phone taken away. I can't even imagine it. On a more serious note, we can stay motivated, but we need to have a positive outlook on life and be accepting of ourselves. I've had the privilege of communicating with Michelle Sagar, an expert in the field of motivation and decision making. In communication with her, she stated that I have been motivated to learn by my desire to know things, grow, and be creative. Her way of thinking should be, and hopefully is, in everyone's minds everywhere. In conclusion, the building blocks of our lives are built off of our self-motivation. The motivation we have to be the best that we can be is what pulls us to do what we love and to live our lives to their fullest. Motivation is sewed into every aspect of our lives, from the basics to our boundless dreams. My final words of wisdom are: work hard, dream big, be open-minded, be happy, and most importantly, be kind. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Okay, wow. So Manny, why did you want to pick that TED Talk?
So I picked that TED Talk because I think right now a lot of students are struggling becoming motivated to do their classes just because a lot of students are at home and it's just a different setting. Like, you can do your chem lecture from your bed and versus actually going in person. I think it's just a different vibe, and I think a lot of people, that girl is like crazily motivated. So if she can do it, I feel like anyone else can take a little bit of what she's saying and put that towards her own life, your own life, and succeed.
That is awesome. Bears, please take the words of advice from the TED Talk that we just watched. Remember, these times are tough right now, but your biggest motivator is your intrinsic motivation, and that's yourself. So keep grinding. Stay tuned for next week. We will be doing some helpful hints on midterms and having a fun little newlywed game with Professor Robbie Peschke and our athletic director, Al Perry. And also keep in mind, next week, Monday, October 19th, we're actually having our virtual candidate forum at 2 p.m. So check on Facebook. It's on MCC's Facebook page. They will be live streaming the forum. So this year, we have 2 open seats for the Board of Trustees at MCC. And I think in the past 70 years, this has never happened before, that we've had 2 open seats and that there are no incumbents this year. So incumbents means that someone who's previously sat on the committee will be on it again. There's 2 totally new seats. So Bears, we need you guys to get there, check these candidates out, and see which ones are student-oriented, student-focused, and that you think will be the best fit for MCC. So, next week, Thursday at 12, you get to see our faces, mine and Maddie's, and you should definitely join in. And if you guys have any questions or want to see something on the show or want something changed, want to talk about something, you can always email psac@mcc.edu. Thank you, Bears.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.